Good morning.
And good morning. Yeah, it's a new year. Usually I do have, there we go. I do have them around, but I'm just wasn't sure if I wanted to put them on. I think I'm going to keep them on.
That's kind of cute.
I don't know. Like I said, last year I put this on my profile picture, me and Sheldon, and I had it on there all year round. So this year I didn't even have to do anything. I'm all,
Oh, wow.
but it's a new year, and how's everybody doing?
I don't know. Everybody is kind of taking it easy this morning, I guess, because um, yeah, I'm doing okay. I'm hanging in there. I'm excited for our guest because I'm hoping that it's gonna kind of
Motivate
motivate me.
everybody. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm back at home, as everybody can see. I did spend from the 1st to the 21st in Calgary and finally got home after supposing I was supposed to leave on the 19th. Flight got canceled. Plane wasn't working. Then I got delayed a bit and got back on the 21st, and thankfully, because my goodness, there was not good stuff going on in the airports after that. Lucky I
Well,
got
a lot
home.
of your I want to say you're lucky, not you're lucky, but your flight got canceled for different reasons. But
Yeah,
after your flight got canceled, there's a lot of flights that got canceled, like thousands of flights that
I
got
know.
canceled because of Omicron, who's just kind of putting everybody out of commission these
Yeah,
days.
yeah,
It
a
is
lot of
out of control out there.
flight attendants and a lot of pilots got sick, so they were lacking in staff to run the planes. So yeah, I'm
Or
thankful.
isolating, just not
Yeah,
not
just in
even
case.
necessarily sick, but isolating. So it's kind of nice to see that people are taking it seriously and are isolating and doing what they're supposed to be doing,
Hmm.
as opposed to a poll yesterday that came out that said that 40% of the people go to work sick either way,
Oh
even
my
when they're,
God.
yeah, because like it's normal. People have um it's a loss of income for a lot of people,
Yep.
and so they got the sniffles, they're going to go to work. It's just the sniffles, right? Well, it's not just the sniffles anymore.
Exactly. No, even when I got home on the 21st, I self quarantined myself because I'd stepped off a plane. I was in an airport, right? So I just didn't go around my mom or my sister, my brother in law. I stayed away till New Year's Eve. So I figured by then I had no symptoms. I should be okay. Everything is good. And
Yeah. And so there's new changes that came about last week, and now the isolation period is actually 5 days, not 10 days anymore. It's
I
just
don't,
5 days for those who are vaccinated. For
okay.
those who are not vaccinated, it's still 10 days.
Okay.
And for those who are immunocompromised, also, they should be isolating for 10 days. But still, it's just, it's more of the flip flopping that we've been seeing. And I know, the science moves and the science changes and blah, blah, blah. But to me, it just makes absolutely no sense that a virus that was so contagious and so bad that you had to isolate for 2 years, we had to isolate for 10 days. All of a sudden, that virus mutates, becomes more virulent and
And now
more
you're down to and
contagious,
now you're down to
and
5
now
days.
and now we're down to 5 days. So to me, yeah, I don't buy that it's the science behind it. I buy that it's just that it's going to disrupt our society because
Mhm.
everybody's going to be isolating. And can you imagine if like it's bad enough right now our hospital is running at low capacity
Yep,
because 40 people have tested positive, and they were anticipating other people to test positive in the next few days.
yep.
So that's disrupted. But imagine if, like, the cops get an outbreak, or the fire people get an outbreak,
Yeah,
firemen, like that's
paramedics, like
paramedics, like that, it could be really bad.
yep, yep.
So anyways, hope for the best, and hoping that 2022 is gonna do away with this darn pandemic. I just
I
and
mean,
become really.
the other way people are looking at it is, everybody gets it. It kind of fades its way out, and it just becomes like the flu. You can get it, and it's just going to become that kind of thing. I think that's maybe what they're hoping for.
Well,
Herd
yeah.
immunity and just hoping that it fades itself out.
Hmm.
So,
But I mean, is it really? I don't know. I don't know. I felt when I heard the announcements last week, I felt like the government had totally given up
mhm,
and was just like, that's it. The pandemic is over. It was such different reactions from and on the same day from Ontario and Quebec. Like
mhm,
Quebec doubled down on their measures and on their stuff, and Ontario just like, that's it. We're not testing anymore. They
mhm.
adopted the Trump method, kind
Yeah,
of,
I
let's not
saw
test.
that.
We're not going to have cases anymore. But in another way, I totally understand that, there are limited supplies, and,
Yeah.
they're prioritizing the vulnerables anyway, but, I think cases should be counted.
Yeah,
But
exactly. That's
anyway, so we have Betty Healey here today to talk about positive stuff, and giving us insight on how to kind of set intentions, I guess, for the new year.
Yep. Yeah.
And so I'm gonna bring Betty in right now. Good morning, Betty.
Good morning.
Good morning, Betty. We are so happy to have you because we're having such a hard time staying positive. Like the last little while has been rough. I mean, as you know, with not just COVID, but myself, I lost my dad in October. My oldest son, Christian, 33 years old, had a massive heart attack November 24th. So I've been struggling, and I'm going to be struggling for a long time with my son's passing. But it's a new year. Got to look on the bright side. And that's why we have you here, Betty, because to me and to Julia, you are the wise woman. You
Yes.
always know
Thank
what to
you.
say.
That might be a big role to live up to.
No, but you always have such good insight, and I don't know if you know this, but my oldest of my second marriage, I should say, not my oldest, but he's the junior editor for the Seeker, so he reads all the stuff before it goes to print. And this month he read your column, and he was like, I really like that. I really like what she's talking about, and I like the fact that it's not a resolution, and it's just, and he was picking his words. So I'm going to let you talk about that a little bit, and what is it, what's different, and how can we choose a word for the year?
Yeah, and well, thank you for the invitation. I mean, I somebody asked me many years ago what my word of the year was, and I thought, it kind of caught me off guard because
Mhm.
I really didn't have a sense of what they were talking about. And then the other day I was going back. I keep instead of making vision boards, I started years ago. I'm going to say about 2016. I started something called the Vision Journal, and what I do is looks like something like this. You can see, but it's all in a book. And I realized that I think it was 2019. I had picked a word of the year, and the word was joy. And then I started thinking back about all. Yes, we ended up. It was pre COVID, of course, but and then last year I had chosen a word legacy,
Okay.
and particularly the one yesterday when I was doing my vision board for this year's word, which is adventure.
Mhm.
I but when I was reviewing the board yesterday, I thought, oh my God, I just realized all the things that happened last year that were related to that. So the idea of a word of a year, at least in my interpretation of it, now this may not be what everybody else thinks, is like setting an intention. And some people think, well, an intention is just another word for a resolution or a goal. And it really is not. An intention is really more about what is the energy that we want to engage to fuel our life around. And I say around because as I began to think of the word of adventure, and I don't know exactly, I can't tell you exactly why I chose that word. It's just that as I began to think towards the end of the year of what my word of the year was going to be, it just kept coming into my head and just did not want to go away like a flashing sign. And I thought,
Mhm.
well, I guess that's it. I guess I better just accept it and move on. And sometimes that is what happens. So I thought, well, adventure, gee, what does that mean? What could be adventure and travel? Um, in the last year, although I am slightly older than probably many of your viewers, I've returned to work on an amazing project for women and particularly for female physicians. I was invited late April to begin participating in this project, which is going to launch fully this coming year. And that for me really dealt with that kind of legacy issue because
Mhm.
I really do want to have the ability to work with women and particularly to help women to appreciate themselves and step into their power and so on. So I think that's going to be a great adventure this year, launching that program. So, it influences, it's not like a word that's just like some people say, well, adventure must mean travel.
Mhm.
Well, not necessarily. Life can be an adventure, and that's really kind of the idea. So I start each day now by simply saying, my word of the year is adventure.
Nice.
And I often add to that, may that adventure be in my highest good.
That's good. That's
Yeah.
perfect.
And the highest good piece of any intention is really important because highest good means it's kind of like a protective bubble. It's not going to say, my least you learned recently. Not all lessons in life are perfect, ideal, and they're not all pain free.
No.
Mhm.
And we don't always understand why those things happen in the time frame they happen and
Mhm.
all of those things. Yet years later, we may look back and say, "Oh, that's why." And
Yeah.
that's the idea of highest good is that it's leading us somewhere. There is a destination, a higher spiritual destination that we are not able to see from in our human form, but that we can ask guidance for. And that's why I think that an intention, I attract all that is in my highest good is sort of like a daily mantra for me.
Mhm.
And yeah, sometimes I go, frickin', a few choice words because I know that something's happening and I know it's probably going to be in my highest good, but it sure as hell doesn't feel good in that moment.
Yeah.
So, but for your viewers to choose a word, and if they have a chance to read your column, it's pretty well outlined there. But a good place to start is just thinking back on 2021 and saying, "Oh, what was less than perfect that I'd like to switch up?" So, yeah, I mean, if we used your example, there was a lot of loss in your family. So the antithesis to that, or the other aspect of that, I'd love for 2021 to be a time when my family really comes together.
Mhm.
Just to kind of and feel that kind of family support for the grieving process and so on. So, an example of an intention in that sense might be I'm attracting family and community which support me unconditionally, because lots of times people will judge grief
Yeah.
and nobody knows what one person is going through.
Mhm.
So just so I attract a community that supports me through this time.
Mhm.
And you notice how that's not attached to I'm attracting specific people. There's no time frame associated with it. It's really an open. And when you say I attract a community of people who supports me at this time, you're also opening it up to people that you may not even realize are who are there supporting you.
Yeah,
I'm taking
exactly.
notes.
I thought that's what you were doing actually.
Yeah,
But it's true. That's a really good way of doing it.
yeah.
You're not
And they may
limiting.
be supporting you silently, like you don't know. Like every
Yeah.
morning, when one of my morning rituals when I'm doing my meditation is to say call in prayers for people, and I don't always know who needs my prayers. So often I'll just say, and I send out prayers and blessings to all those in my circle of friends and family who need those prayers at this
Mm-hmm.
time, whom I am not aware of. And it's kind of so intention in that sense is an energy field that we want to gift ourselves and gift the world.
Mm-hmm.
And it's important to be able to gift ourselves with it first, because the more we gift it here, the more we have to give. It's that,
Exactly.
it's kind of an inward outward process in that sense. So as we think back on 2021, we can think of things that weren't so perfect, but we could also think of things that were, oh my God, just awesome. And I think of the opportunities I had to work with women last year, and I certainly want to continue that. And I think that's where the adventure kind of came from, because um, I want to be curious and understand ways in which I could do things that I may not have been doing them up till now. So
Mm-hmm.
that's the kind of the adventure piece, because it's showing me, in my view or my understanding of my interpretation of adventure, it's show me things that I don't already know. Right.
Hmm.
So that's a good way is just to start. Now, that's, as I say, that's my word. It's not my husband's word. His is different. But the other thing is, is to think about a circumstance where you felt really fulfilled or grounded or curious, or just like at full,
Mm-hmm.
and visualize what that moment was like, and what was the motivating energy behind that. Was it love, or was it joy? Was it oh gosh, I just feel such gratitude right now? What was it? And that also begins to give you a hint as to what you may want to adopt as your word of the year.
So, in the column, you were talking about 3 words initially.
Yeah. So the suggestion was start. Actually, start by writing down a list of all the words that you might possibly think of being. So, I mean, I had a whole list of them, and I think I put them in the column. And things like abundance, gratitude, joy, love, peace, compassion. These are words that keep circulating for me. And then as write them all down, write as many as you can think of. Don't judge anything.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing, one of my friends said to me the other day, well, I want non something. That's not a good word. That's not a
No.
Mm.
good word of the year. Non anything means the non drops off and you get exactly what you don't want. So if you said, for example, I want non-violence, that's not really what you want. You really want peace.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So you want to make sure that the words that you're choosing are words that are worthy of your focus, and that the our brains and the universe doesn't recognize a non or I don't want thing. And then, as Julie, as you said, narrow it down. Like read the list over and over again, and just choose the 3 words that pop out you. They're the ones that keep coming out, and almost create like a resonance for you. Like, oh my God, I can feel that. Like joy is another one for me, and I don't think that'll ever go anywhere. And I've been doing a lot of work in the last 2 years with compassion, and so those words are always still, I think, in the background, percolating. So I got to my 3, and then I usually say to myself, so let's say the 3 words were joy, compassion, and adventure. And I said to myself, so if I am I already joyful? And I can say, well, not 100% of the time,
Mm-hmm.
but a good portion of the time I feel that way. And what about compassion? Oh, I've done a lot of work in compassion. I feel like I need to move it beyond that. Okay, compassion comes off the list. What about joy? Joy and adventure, joy and adventure. If I had more adventure, would I have more joy? Oh,
Mm.
maybe I would. So maybe adventure comes first.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of saying what would lead to the next.
Mhm.
That
Kind of a
sense.
process of elimination.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's good.
Oh,
The word that stands out for me this year is balance.
That's a great one. Yep.
I keep seeing, you're the lady with the road signs, right? And so I keep seeing this word popping in shows and other, like signs and stuff that I'm reading, and it just keeps popping at me, balance. And I think that's missing in my life right now. I need more balance. So I think that's what I'm going to focus on.
And Julia, that's a great way. That's a great other way to attract your word of the year. Like if there's been things and you've been reading or shows you've been watching, whatever, and one word or a theme keeps popping up for you, like and doesn't want to go away, it's like it is a sign. So maybe that's a great way to choose your word for the year.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you, My-Liis? Any thoughts?
I knew you were gonna ask me. I've kind of I'm like, "Okay, can I think quick enough?" I haven't really thought of anything as of yet, but I'm going to
Yeah.
definitely do that today because, like I say, I need that motivation right now and to start my new year.
So one of the I'm not sure why you need to know this, but I just hear it for you. I think one of the things that you may want to focus on this year, it may be a focus, it may be your word of the year, would be compassion, but specifically self-compassion.
That's
A good
probably
one.
a good idea. Yeah, that's probably a good
Yeah.
word. I
And
know
no, continue.
No, I know you were talking about family and community and stuff, but I mean, at the end of 2021, my family did come together, not as I had intended, but with Christian's passing, I ended up spending most of my December in Calgary with my daughter and my youngest son
Mhm.
and my ex in small doses because we did visit. We did visit a little bit. Obviously, we got along for that reason, but again, it wasn't something I had intended to do, but
Mhm.
I was so glad that I got to visit with my kids
Mhm.
to see where they live and how they live and all that
Mhm.
good
Mhm.
stuff. But it was so sad that I waited and I kept waiting and I couldn't visit with all three of them. And that's the sad part.
That's a great word, by the way. Facebook user. I don't know who that
Yeah,
is. I'm
Yes.
not sure
Courage.
why it
courage.
displays like that, but courage is a good one.
Yep.
I certainly need more courage too. This pandemic has made me such a wimp.
Well, courage and courage is a lovely word. It was my word of the year a few years ago, and courage comes from the French word for heart, cœur. And
Oh.
so a lot of people don't realize that, but courage really is a heartfelt emotion.
Mm-hmm.
And in the work that Jim and I have done through the years, we
Yeah.
always say that the first, like we always talk about the four principles of courage: authenticity, love, and grace.
Mm-hmm.
And courage is always first because courage is the first step often in moving into that space of really loving and understanding yourself and doing your personal work, because it requires us looking at ourselves in such a heartfelt way that it can be challenging at times. So I love that. I love the word courage. It's a key, yeah, key principle. The other thing I want to say about when you choose your word of the year, and remember, I think some people hesitate to choose a word because they fear that they're eliminating everything else.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really not true. One thing I did when I chose adventures, I just wrote it down in the center of a page, and I kind of wrote down all the other things that might support that, like joy or like peace or like travel or like curiosity. Those were kinds of things, just to remind me that adventure doesn't stand alone. It's part of a constellation of things that just represents something I want to focus on now. And the idea again is, then if once you choose your word, is to call it in every day or several times a day. And it could be a moment when you're feeling a little frazzled, even, and you
Mm-hmm.
just say, I need to step away right now. And what is my word of the day, which is an intention. And I just get calm, take a deep breath, and I go adventure or courage or compassion or balance, whatever it happens to be.
Mm-hmm.
And just kind of skip. It's just meant, it in a way, it's meant to bring you center your energy, center and focus your energy.
Oh, a new Facebook user.
I'm pretty sure it's still Monica. So I'm a big fan of Betty Healey. She has great advice to help us love ourselves. Yes, she
Monica and I have
does.
traveled many roads together.
Yeah, we agree with you, Monica. That's why Betty's here today. She is a wise woman.
Yeah. And, I think something like an intentionality could be more important for us than ever. I mean, Julia, to your point, and I heard what you were talking about. I don't, I kind of given up judging the government one way or the other because I, honest to God, as I think about it myself, don't know what the right answer is anymore.
No.
This new variant of COVID does not seem to make people sick, and my God, it's everywhere.
Hmm.
And I mean, I don't know of anyone that I've spoken to who's not been affected by it in some way this Christmas, either a family member, a friend, a colleague, whatever. We've certainly had at least a dozen people in our network affected. None of them have been sick, as you said. Didn't seem to be much more than a cold. Doesn't mean it might not be for some people, especially those who may not have been vaccinated. We don't know. But at some point, I guess I keep asking myself, at what point do we stop all
Madness.
the restrictions? Yeah. What point do we stop and have the courage to step back out again,
Yeah.
and move back into? I don't think life's going to go back ever to the way it was before.
No.
But start in chewable chunks, taking back our life and being able to go out and uh, and and do things that we want to do. And I don't mean, I'm not trying to imply carelessly. I think we want to be mindful and thoughtful about what that looks like, and we have to choose for ourselves what feels right.
Hmm.
uh,
Hmm.
but a year from now, I am hopeful that there's probably could be more variants of COVID. But as I think you said, Julia, or My-Liis, one of you, um, there are many variants of the flu.
Yeah.
There are many variants of getting a cold. As the virus is constantly changing, which is why we can get a cold or the flu over and over again. And I think the same is going to be true of COVID. We just have to
Yeah.
start to wrap our heads around that.
Yeah. My only issue with COVID is that I am, it's so brand new. Um, what's to say that it's not kind of like shingles that 10 years from now it's going to reactivate, and I really would rather not have it. I'd
Um,
rather stay away.
well, you
But
probably, and since you're probably both fully vaccinated, there's a good chance that even if you did get it, like, as you know, with shingles, there's now a vaccine as well.
Hmm.
yes, I
But
got
no
that.
vaccine is 100% guarantee. I mean, that's just the way
Yeah,
it
it's
is.
just the
But
way it
Yeah.
is.
yes,
It's the way
so
vaccines work.
yeah.
And that's a big misconception. People, a lot of people think vaccine means automatically means you're not getting it, and
Yeah.
it couldn't be further from the truth.
Yeah.
So, but
So,
anyways,
but on that note, we could all join hands and start to join together and really set an intention for the healing of Mother Earth and the healing
Hmm.
of humanity.
yes,
And
that's the other big thing. I mean, we've been so focused on COVID that
Yeah.
we've kind of forgotten about, climate change, and it's been in 2021, it's been worse than ever. Like British Columbia has been affected so hard.
mhm,
Right now in Colorado, we've seen the hottest days ever recorded in Canada this past year, and it's just getting worse. So we need to focus on Earth for sure.
mhm. And of course, as Mother Earth heals, we heal. I mean, it's we. I think this is where politicians and people who don't seem to understand that. Uh, we are intimately intertwined and linked with
Hmm.
Mother Earth energy, and so again, if we all take the time on a daily basis, my word of the year is adventure. I send out energy for the healing of Mother Earth and the healing of humanity, and our ability to move forward together in partnership in a way that is, in using your word, Julia, in balance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think balance is uh, uh, you know everything in limitation, like everything, you don't overdo anything. Like that's my big issue for 2020 and 2021 is that I've been tending to overdo stuff. And
Mhm.
it's easy because being in I'm talking COVID here obviously because and it's easy
Mhm.
because being in the media, I'm bombarded with
Mhm.
press releases. It's just constant. It's just one after the other. Like right after this, we have a press conference with the premier. So it's constant. But I need to be able to detach
Mhm.
and counterbalance this with other stuff because it's just too much. Like I'm having a indigestion of COVID material.
Yeah.
Well, and yes, and I've certainly had to distance myself from the media, and I know the two of you really can't because that's partly your business, but and being that you are your purpose is positive news,
Mhm.
you want to make sure that you find sources of information also that feed you positive news. Like I get from the Washington Post twice a week, I get something called The Optimist.
Okay.
I get CNN Good
Good
News.
Yeah,
news. Yeah.
me too.
Yeah.
I get those.
So, and other columns and things that really, I love reading Adriana Huffington's editorials because she's always very uplifting and had a wonderful column yesterday on resilience. So, know what you want to read and know what you want to feed yourself. Um, and the thing I love about intentionality, as I said, I just want to reiterate that it's not a goal. There's no distinct concrete outcome from an intention. It's about saying, this is really what I want to fuel my life with. I want to fuel my life with joy. And then just watch for it. It's like watch for the signs and the indications that that's happening and follow that energy. Because it will show itself to you in ways and means that you had no idea of. Whereas when we set things in goals, it becomes very black and white. And a goal kind of says, okay, here's what the issue is. Here's what I want to achieve. That's the target. Zoom, right?
And it's
Yep.
it's easy to set yourself for failure when you do something like that.
Yep.
Absolutely.
It's
And
like the diets every
well,
every first
exactly.
of January.
Yeah. And so rather than saying I want to lose 20 pounds, I would say step away from the scales completely. Set the intention that I have a perfect healthy body. I am my perfect weight. And then use that to screen and to follow the signs and listen to your body and what you put in your mouth and what exercises you engage in. I
Mhm.
mean, just the universe, if you will, feed you instead
Hmm.
of
Yeah.
I mean, I have to do that. I get very locked into weight issues and have all my life, and I've decided I think 3 years ago that the scales so trigger me I can't do that anymore. So it's about creating a new relationship with your body and with the everything. So
Yeah.
Exactly.
anyway, I hope that helps people. I love years ago, actually this month, as of January 8th, will be the 25th anniversary of road signs.
Oh wow.
And in all those 25 years, I've never had a business plan.
Wow.
Some people could criticize that
Yeah.
justifiably. In the early years, I had a lot of goals, but there was a point, probably about 10 years into the company, where I really learned about the power of intentionality. And it would be more like I am attracting my perfect clients. I am attracting my perfect work.
Hmm.
And and then it was like everything exploded.
Mhm.
Like once I learned to unleash myself from specific goals, which were actually, while they seemed to be motivators, were actually limiting because I would put on blinders and say, this is the way it has to be done, has to be achieved. And I couldn't see all the other possibilities that existed.
Couldn't see the road signs.
You couldn't see the road signs. That's it.
Yeah.
Speaking of road signs, I just want to mention a little something that happened yesterday. So I have my friend Brock Frost, who's on Facebook. Anyways, he posted a picture. He was out, I think, in probably a microbrewery or something like that. Anyways, he had this picture with these two individuals, and he was, saying that he was doing brainstorming and stuff, and Brock won like the number one mortgage broker in Ontario, the most producing or something like that. I don't know. Don't quote me. He won an award or some sort of recognition.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, he takes his pictures with these two individuals, and behind him, the first beer on the sign says First Frost.
Oh my.
So I checked the picture and I saw that right away. It just jumped at me, and he hadn't noticed it at all. He hadn't seen that it was there. And I'm like, if that's not a sign, maybe you're going to be first in Canada this year.
Yeah, yeah. Well, exactly. I mean, it's and so subtle, right, Julia?
Yeah.
And
Oh,
so much
yeah.
so that
Like,
he didn't even see
it's
it.
super subtle, but it just jumped right at me. I'm like, what the heck? First Frost, what are the chances? Anyways, that's a road sign for sure.
Yeah,
No,
absolutely.
that's what I love about your column, Betty. I mean, you named it because there are signs in the road. There's signs all over the place, and we don't always see them right away. But like you said, eventually they come and tell us what they meant.
Well, I have learned that if you ignore the sign, like you may actually see it and you say,
We're
but
stubborn.
yeah, well, that's it. You pay attention to it, you see it, but you're in what we call tension. Like, so
Mm-hmm.
there's three aspects of setting intentions. So set the intention, pay attention, which is see the road signs.
Mm-hmm.
But the third step is to be in no tension, which is not to fight it because it's showing up for a reason.
Yeah.
And it maybe it's not perfect, but at least to exercise the curiosity to examine what it is. Otherwise, it'll come back and keep slapping you.
It just
Yeah.
Yeah.
shows you over and over again until you finally say, all right.
Pay attention
I
to it.
get it. I get it.
Yeah.
Don't have to hit me anymore with it.
Yeah, but I find human beings are so stubborn, and it's really sad. Like, I had an experience with my son over the holidays, and I just find it really sad that it requires us to hit the freaking wall before we actually do some things. Oftentimes it's just we have to hit the wall, and
Yeah.
everybody around you is kind of looking at you, aiming for the wall, and they know it's coming,
Yeah.
and they're trying to wake you up, but still, you just go for that wall.
So, Julie, I mean, and I would say this to Mai-Liis too, given the end of the year you had. I mean, we do know that everything does happen for a reason, and for some reason, I mean, sometimes I look back and think, oh yeah, right. But it's all got a divine purpose, and yeah, we are stubborn, and sometimes it takes us longer to learn that lesson. But Mai-Liis, I mean, the big lesson for you will be to make sure you create that time and space to be with
Yeah.
your family and your children.
Yeah.
It's an unfortunate way to learn it. And then for you, Julia, if you don't want to hit the wall again, and we hope you don't, you may have a flat nose.
Oh, I didn't hit the wall. My son did.
Oh, your son
Yeah.
did, yeah. But again, they we can't protect them. They've got to learn their own lessons and
Yeah.
create. All we can do is create the time and space for them to find their own way through that. And
But you see, that's where the balance comes in as well, because
Mm-hmm.
to me, like, the problem is not enabling. I have a hard time, putting my foot down and getting a boundary. That's another great word, boundaries.
Yeah. Boundaries.
But establishing the boundary and making sure that, it's in balance, that I do enough to help him, but I don't do too much to enable him.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's another.
yeah, and one of the tools that we use with clients is called Lumina Learning, and one of the things that highlights is your different strengths. And there's one of the balance points in there is the difference between accommodating and being firm and kind of clear on your boundaries. And I find, and I'm using it right now in this leadership project with women, and women are really do struggle often more than men with this not being overly accommodating and really learning how to bring in the other side, which is the fierceness and the toughness. And the new model of self-compassion that I'm working with too talks about fierce self-compassion, which is really about not only being clear in our boundaries, but giving ourselves permission to state what the boundary is. And the idea that no is a complete sentence. I don't
Mm.
have to. Don't you love that?
I like that.
I love that.
Yeah, me too.
And that we've used it in discussions around when men are too forward with us, and you say no to them, and they still continue. We say no means no. Well, the same applies in so many of our relationships. No is a complete sentence. No means no. And I've even had to say to one of my former bosses, and you note the word former, uh, he really pushed the limits with me, and I said no to him, and he wouldn't accept it. And I actually ended up asking him, is there something you don't understand about the word no?
Mhm.
Wow.
And that was the end of our relationship, but that was fine. It did clearly not the perfect relationship for me to be in anyway.
Mhm.
So when things like that, if we say no to people and they keep wanting to cross it, sometimes it's with children and they just want to test the boundaries. But if it's with a colleague or someone like that, it really does it is kind of a road sign to say, step back and say, okay, what in this relationship is really necessary, or is it, or am I pursuing it only because it's a habit?
Yeah.
Mm.
You know, um, and that in itself, I mean, I think for us moving forward, all of us, particularly as professional women and entrepreneurs, which the two of you are, in business, we really have to know what our no's and our yeses are.
That
Yeah,
is correct.
I'm learning to say no, because when you're self-employed, it's kind of hard to say no to money, right? Like if a customer comes and they're not the ideal customer at all, and but it's hard to say no because you need the money. But I'm learning to say no to the ones that are not a good match with me,
Mm-hmm.
and to say yes to, because it opens the door to 10 others that
Yep.
I would spend the time of 10 other customers on this one person that is not a good match.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's
As I've learned, and I think the last time I said yes to a client who I knew was not perfect for me, he created so much work, and he, of course, he didn't want to pay full fees,
Mm-hmm.
and I compromised on that. I accommodated too much, and we did it because of another colleague of ours who asked us nicely to, whatever, and it
Mhm.
was a bad decision. And boy, it was a really big learning. It slapped me in the face. I don't know how many times, because he was so demanding, and we're trying to plan a workshop, and every day he changed the plan, and that created so much more work.
Mm-hmm.
So to your point, Julia, absolutely. Even as an entrepreneur, we need to know who our perfect clients are and to say yes to them. And despite what might seem like a big financial implication, say no to the ones that we know aren't perfect, because they will take up so much time and space you can't get to your perfect clients.
Yep.
Right.
Exactly.
But it is a hard call in business. Yeah, I mean, of course, I'm supposed to be retired, and evidently I'm not. But that does give me more permission now than ever to say no. I'm only working really with one corporate client, but they're huge, and the amount of work and the projects that come from them is huge as well. And even with them, though, only saying yes to the projects that really, at this point in time, resonate with my word adventure
Mm-hmm.
and legacy and joy, the words I've had in the past.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
thank you so much, Betty, for
well,
being with us today and helping us start the new year on a great note.
yeah,
Um,
definitely.
I'll
Yeah.
be on my list for her to find her word.
Well,
I'll be.
Unless you adopt self-compassion, then that's fine.
it's probably an element of what needs to happen in this upcoming particular period
Yeah.
of time. May not be the word for the entire year, but certainly an element of it. And yeah, and I wish everyone else the opportunity just to think about it. And remember, even though you might narrow it down to one word, that you're not eliminating others. It's just it's a word to give you focus and balance. Julia's word of the year for yourself, and to help you to thrive in as we come out of we are going to come out of this pandemic this year.
Yes.
Um, so help you thrive, and more than survive, we want to thrive.
Yeah.
All right.
Wow.
Well,
Thank you.
this was Betty Healey.
And she is one of the Seekers writers, one of our contributors. We are so thankful that you are, Betty, because your columns are just wonderful. So
Thank
whenever
you.
the January Seeker is in print, we're a little delayed because of the holidays, but
Mhm.
once it comes out, you'll be able to read Betty's column. And I think I'm going to actually post it
Post it
today.
today. Yeah, let's post
Yeah.
the column today online, and so
Yeah.
people can read it.
And people can follow me on Facebook too, as these guys know. I post the daily message,
Yes.
which I mean, my mission, I guess you could say, is to keep us positive and
Yeah.
uplifted, not naive, but uplifted. So if
Is
anyone,
is this on your personal page, or is this road sign page
no, it's on my personal page,
on your
Betty
personal
Healy.
page? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I see it every day, Betty. I just love it. I love what
I'll
you
have to
write.
make a point to go and like it so I can see more of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well, have a great day and have a good year.
Thank you. You too.
All
And
Happy
right.
New
thank
Year,
thank
everyone.
you so much for joining us today. You've really made us motivated and happy. I know I am. I
Okay.
think
Well,
Julie is too.
a pleasure. Thanks,
All
guys.
right. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Betty. Bye. Yeah,
Oh, I'm uplifted. I'm ready to take on the year.
yeah, me too. Yeah. I knew it was a good choice to have Betty join us today because we both needed that. So
Absolutely.
I
Absolutely.
I always
So
say she's a wise woman. She always knows what to say.
she is. She's really a great motivator, and the show's called Monday Morning Motivation. So I think if we can choose a word for the seeker this year,
Yeah.
um, I think I would go back to positive.
Well, that's what our word is. Our word's always been positive.
Yeah, but in the last few years, we've kind of, lost track of that because it's been so negative all around us. But I think um, we need to focus on positive this year.
Yeah, I agree. Totally agree. That will be our word,
That will
positive.
be our word for the year.
I mean, everybody knows that the magazine itself, the print version, is always positive. We do,
Yeah,
we do have a little bit of other stuff in there too. Sometimes it's in your editorial, but that's your space.
yeah,
But on the whole, anything that gets into print has to be positive. If it's negative, it has to have a positive twist to be in there. But guys, our website, theseeker.ca, does have all the news. It has everything. Positive plus the other word that I don't like to say. So check us out daily because our website is updated every day.
yep, yep. And so we'll bring you the new announcements that are taking place at 11. I don't know, it might be delayed because it's always oftentimes delayed. I should say not always, but oftentimes delayed.
Hmm.
So there'll be new announcements today regarding new measures and possibly schools. I don't know, but we'll bring you that in the next hour or so, I guess.
Now I
Gail,
know,
we're doing fine. Gail is asking how we are today. We're doing okay.
and I know Gail has said that her Christmas decorations are up. So are mine.
No, she was asking you. I see you still have your Christmas decorations. I still have mine.
I do. I take mine down at Little Christmas, which is January the 6th, because I'm Estonian, and in our tradition, if you take them down before January the 6th, before Little Christmas, it's bad luck for the rest of the year. So, guess what? Mine always come down on the 6th. I always keep them up.
But in here too, usually we always used to take down the decorations on what's it called?
It,
The Wise Men's
yeah, it's
Day or something.
Epiphany, a little Christmas,
Yeah,
January the 6th.
yeah. So that's how I was raised as well. It was never
Okay.
before that because my birthday is on January 5th, and I always had the decorations up for January 6th. So,
Yeah, as you can see in the background, I don't know, I'll turn it a bit. Remember those paintings that we did way in the
hmm,
back on
oh
the
yeah,
wall?
I
I
got
put
mine
them
up
up.
too.
We
They're
put them
cute.
up. Yeah, we
As
did
soon as
a.
all presents are open, we're done with Christmas. Yeah.
Oh, really? No, a lot of people are. I know a lot of people take them down right on Christmas Day, but no, I can't. And what I do is I'll take out anything that's like Santa related or the tree and stuff like that, but anything snow related, all my snowman stuff stays up until the snow is gone pretty well. So,
Yeah. Yeah, my snowmen stay up all winter too, and I think I'm gonna keep my gnomes out.
yeah, cuz gnomes you can have gnomes out for the rest of the year. I'll have to show you what I found. Just one sec. I'll show you what I just picked up for myself.
Okay. Oh, that is so cute. I love that. It says gnome, sweet gnome.
Yeah,
That's gorgeous.
I kind of went out. I don't know, like I say, with what happened in my life, I've kind of spent quite a bit of time by myself, contemplating, thinking. I just needed that time out, and I think um, it was yeah, it would have been just after Christmas. I went out and just kind of visited a couple of stores and picked that up. I saw that, and it
Where's
really
that from?
it's that one's actually from Home Hardware.
Oh, okay.
They had all their Christmas stuff off 50%. And then I went to the one on Vincent Massey, the farm store. Ugh,
Oh yeah, TSC.
yeah, well, I don't know if it's that now, it's something else, but they got some beautiful stuff too. So
Cool.
not that I need anything Christmas. I really don't. I have like 12 totes of Christmas, and because we're building the house, the tiny house, I've got to downsize, but that was is going to look so cute at the front door.
Nice. Very, very
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, I just want to, again, something really pretty. I was showing Julia. My mother has been painting stuff like this. Like, this is the kind of stuff she does. She's paints all kinds of plant pots, and this was the one that she gave me for Christmas. So it's just gorgeous. Like, it makes me
I'm
smile.
jealous.
Love sunflowers.
Can I adopt your mom?
And well, she painted a lot of plant pots and gave them to the hospice because they have a little area for fundraising, and I
Hmm.
think she gave them about 6 or 7 of them to put
Are
in
there
that
more
area.
sunflowers?
A lot of hers are very close to this,
Oh, I'm gonna
some
go
of the
and
sunflowers, but I know she's got about 8 or 9 of them on the go. She always has some on the go, so
nice.
but they're just beautiful.
That's good that she's doing that.
It is. It is. And it's something that maybe we should start doing a little bit of too. I know my sister paints plant pots and she's concentrates on gnomes. She's
Oh,
got some really cute ones. So
that's nice. I would like those too. Maybe I'll paint my own.
yeah, well maybe it's something.
What are they using? Acrylic?
Yeah,
Is it
acrylic
just like
paints.
acrylic paint? Yeah.
Yeah, just like the ones we
Hmm.
use for the paint night for the Santas behind us. So and then you paint on it and then you varnish it.
You
Like
put a
this has 2 coats of varnish on it to protect
okay.
it. So
Nice. Well, maybe I'll give it a try. Do some adventurous stuff, like Betty said.
I think that's what we all need to do is kind of change things up a little bit too.
Yep. 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 So, on that note,
Actually, change
uh,
things up so that we have a balance. Wait a minute, there's
balance,
another
exactly.
word.
There you go. Yeah, no, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to balance I'm trying not to be in my computer 24/7. I'm trying to balance it out with other stuff. Like I've been spending like throughout the pandemic, I've been spending a lot of time with the kids, which is awesome.
Yeah.
We've gone so close. Like I'm really happy about that.
Good.
But yeah, I need more balance.
Yeah, I'll try and come up with a word today, and I'll let you know.
Let people
But
know what it is.
but to seek a word positive is definitely a good one. That's the one we're going
Mhm.
to use.
Yep.
So,
All
folks,
right.
just let us know what your word is too. Put in the comment section. We're
Yep.
excited to see.
Let us know what your word is, and we're not going to be covering much events because everything is kind of on hiatus again.
Yep.
But yeah, if you have anything going on, you can go to theseeker.ca and post it in the calendar if it's a virtual thing, or yeah, just let us know what's going on. And we'll see you next week. Have yourself a great day.
And a super duper week. Bye.
Bye.